Hello, I pray that you all well. Welcome to the blownash YouTube channel, where we dedicated ourselves to share with you the tiny little bit of what we know in music production using ProTools. While doing so, we also give you full access in our comment section for you to make a suggestions, elaborate, or to make a request of a topic that you or your friends might be interested in. First, be pleased to walk through our channel just to make sure that we haven't already done so. So today, we're gonna start from scratch, show you how to get access to ProTools, buy or rent, subscribe from the Avid website, and what you're gonna need to get ProTools up and running. Now, before we dive in, I'm not gonna take too much of your time to tell you the whole stories of ProTools, where it started, how it started, and since from and where it comes from and all that. But I do know ProTools been around for quite a while, and ProTools is one of the top DAW and is being used by most of the top engineers and producers in the music industry. So let's dive in. The very first thing, we go into the internet and type Avid. Then from the Avid website, it's gonna look like this. Go ahead over here where it say login here. Here, mine say login because I already have an account with them. But for you, if you go into the website for the first time, you're just gonna probably say sign up or register. And you're just gonna click that. And after you click it, fills this with those information here, like your first name. Let's say, for example, John. And let's say last name is Doe. And let's the country, you gotta put your country you reside in. Choose if it's individuals or business. For this video, we're just gonna click on individual. Put your email. Let's say your email address just gonna be johndoe@gmail.com. Just put a random password 111111 and click create Avid account. Now that you already create an account with them, next thing you're gonna do from here, click audio and music, click on ProTools over here, and now you're gonna have options to buy ProTools, to subscribe. They have different options available. For the purpose of this video, we're just gonna stick with ProTools Studio. Those prices over here are showing for the annual price. Up here where it say annual, click this and it changes to monthly. Now it's gonna be $34.99 per month. I would highly suggest it to take it yearly if you can, but you got choices. And for the account that we created earlier, we put individuals, but it doesn't matter because you can still purchase it as a student or a teacher. The price from $2.99 to only $99 per year. Keep in mind that there's gonna be some more steps included, which is not that complicated. So now let's say you buying it individual and you take it the annual one, click add to cart, click checkout. Now from the checkout window, it's pretty straightforward. All they're gonna ask you is your legal name, your address, your billing address, and your card information. Just pretty much when you're shopping online, buying any type of thing online, it's pretty much the same thing. And then you click next, then you follow the instruction and until you buy it and receive an email confirmations for your purchase. After you went through the buying process and everything, you receive your confirmation email that you just purchased this and that from Avid. Come straight to the website. This time click account and click my products. Everything that you purchased from Avid is gonna list it over here. Make sure you check up here for your gift and stuff and just go grab them and follow instruction. To download and install ProTools, gonna click here. From here, click download. It's so sharp over here, just like when you download anything. If not, click here and go to the download history. Now you can see everything that you've downloaded, and this is ProTools. Click on the download folder. This window gonna pop up. Double click this folder that say install ProTools 25. Now Marco is gonna ask for permissions. Click allow, then click continue. Install for all users on this computer. Yes, continue. Then click install. Now it's gonna ask you for your password. Then installation gonna start. Now it's gonna take a minute to fully install. Now for some reason you won't be able to have ProTools up and running on your computer unless you have an iLok account linked to it. There's two options you can do that. You can either go to the iLok website to have an account with them by iLok Cloud, which you won't need a USB for that. All you're gonna need is a stable internet connection, especially when you're working. If for some reason that internet is stopped working for even 1 second, it's gonna be a huge problem and your license gonna stop working. Personally, what I do, I have the iLok USB, which I highly recommend it because, hey man, when you're moving around, all you gotta do, just bring this guy with you connected to the next computer that you're gonna be working on. All your licenses is gonna be right here with you. Now hear me out though, you might still wanna log in, but after you logged in, you won't really necessarily need internet connection. To do that, we simply go into iLok, and from their website, click and buy if you want a physical iLok. As I mentioned earlier, here, click add to cart. From here, follow the screen instructions just like you did on the Avid website when you was buying ProTools. Let's say you're not buying a physical one, you just need to have iLok account. Create a free account right here. It's pretty much like the same thing you did with Avid. First name, let's say John Doe. Email address, johndoe@gmail.com. Create a password, date of birth, security questions that are personal to you, and let them know that you're not a robot. Click create account. Now you're definitely gonna need to download iLok License Manager. Click download as we did for ProTools and install. Open it. It's gonna show up like this, except you won't have this here. Then you sign in, you enter your information, and your license is gonna show up over here. Now that iLok License Manager installed, what you're gonna do here is come back to the Avid website, sign in back into the Avid, and you click my account. The window gonna look like this. Come under here where it say linked iLok account. There will be a button here that will say link, and then you're gonna click it, and it's gonna ask for your user ID. Enter your password, and then you should see the status. Wise he says status is linked. Well, as you can see, mine already linked. Now your iLok is linked with your Avid account. It's automatically have the license active in your iLok. Now we have ProTools ready to go to make stuff happen. First, open ProTools. When you click on it, it's gonna show like that. On the left side, when you click on the new tab, everything you're seeing right here is when you're having a new session. You click on open, it's gonna bring you to project you've been working on recently. But let's say this is our first time we open ProTools, you won't see anything over here. If you already have some projects on your external drive or on your computer that you'd like to open, you will simply have to click browse, and then you click on your project, then you click open. Now for cloud projects, it requires that you sign in the same Avid account that you created. We most likely use cloud projects if we share on a project. You have the Avid community app, and then you can log in that with the same Avid account to send the invitation for your project. And this down here, some resources really useful. It's gonna go back to new so we can start our session. First thing we're gonna do is name our session. We're gonna name this ProTools Studio. We're gonna save in a local storage. Local storage pretty much mean we saving this session in our computer or in our external drive that we have connected in our computer. The cloud project is not even active because we're not having a cloud project. Here, this is where your ProTools session is going to save, and if you want to change it, click browse over here, create a whole new folder. If you want to save it in another folder other than what's being selected, you do that, and then you click open, and then it's gonna bring you right here. If you want to, you can simply prompt for location. Now you're telling ProTools to ask you for location when you click create. But session configurations, we're just gonna clip it at wave. That way easier for us to convert it in MP3, and the sound quality is gonna be good. Now you can see this on 48 kHz, changes to 44.1K. The beat depth we have 16, 24, 34. 16 is alright, but 24 is much better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it at 24 bits. For the audio settings here, we can either change it to stereo mix or whatsoever system that you wanna bring your main output. For this, I'm just gonna keep it last use, but if you're not sure what your last use was, you can just go here and click stereo mix. Click this, enter leave. Everything right here is if you're just having a whole new session from scratch, but you can also open a session from template by clicking this button right here that says create from template. This is every template Avid have available. Template for getting started, they have for beats, they have for podcasting, they have for singer songwriter, they have getting started ProTools intro, beat, ProTools, stuff like that. They have post productions template available. They have a bunch of cool stuff. For the purpose of this video, we're just gonna go ahead, create a session from scratch, deselect the create from template button, and remember to always have this interleave on. So everything looks good. Go ahead and click create, so we have our session open. ProTools is gonna open up looking like this with the click track, which you can also change in the setup preference. If you press play, normally you should hear the metronome. Make sure you check if the metronome button is on. So right now it's off, that's why we don't hear it. Now it's gonna turn it on. you can hear the metronome. What you're seeing right here is the edit window. On the left we have our track list where every track is gonna be listed. As you can see, the click track, it's on here. There's a lot of way you can manipulate your tracks over here through the tracks list. This drop down button over here have a lot of options like show or hide tracks, make track inactive. You can even hide track from here just by pressing this button over here. Now when it's not on, the track is hide. When it's on, the track is show. Underneath of the track list, it's our group list. For now we don't have any group. There's no really much we can talk about that, but this is where the group track is going to be. There's also this drop down menu over here to also manipulate our groups, new groups, display a lot of cool stuff you can do with your group. On the right side of the edit window over here, this is our widgets list. When I say widgets, just keep in mind I'm referring to clips. This is gonna be the clips list. For now we don't have anything, that's why you don't see anything over here. And we also have this drop down button over here to also manipulate our widget list. There's a lot of cool stuff we can do here. We can batch rename, we can clear, like delete, we can show, we can sort them by it. A lot of cool stuff you can do right here from the widget list. This button over here hide your widget list, which you will probably have to do when you're editing in ProTools, just so you can have more space in the edit window. Or you can simply click here and drag it all the way. You can also do the same thing with the track list too. Click that button over here and it hide the track list and the group list, and when you click over here, now it show it. You can also do the same thing by clicking and drag it over here. If you notice, we also have this button that's point up. When you click it, you can have your MIDI editor show up in the bottom from here. For now the MIDI editor is not active, reason why, because we don't have any MIDI track or instrument track. And we also have clip effect down here, we have Melodyne, and we also have the RX picture editor. For clip effects, if you click on it, you can still have access to some effects that you can manipulate your widgets with while you're working in ProTools. If you wanna drag it down, you can do that, or you can also just click the button over here. So overall, this is the edit window. Our two main window in ProTools is edit, what we're seeing right here, and a mix window. You're gonna switch on those two windows a lot when you're working in ProTools. The easiest way to do that is Command echo. On the top from further left, we have our mode editing tools. We have grid, spot, shuffle, slip, which I'm gonna explain a lot much better to you in our editing tutorials. The grid is simply, as you can see, when I click on grid, when you're making a selections, you're on grid, but when you're on slip, you see spot, shuffles, and better way to show them to you in our editing pattern. On the right side of it, this is our zoom controls. This over here controls the zoom for our widgets, and this over here controls the zoom for our MIDI note. Underneath of it, where you see those numbers, are zoom preset that you can save and you can call them later on. Let's say right now you're seeing on this right here, and if I click on 1, it's kind of zoom out. Now you see it from bar 1 until 20. We can save up to 5 preset. On the other side over here, this is our editing tools. This is our grabber, this is our selector, this is our trim tool over here. This is the type to transient. This over here is like our timeline with our edit selection. This over here like edit selection with our track selection, and this over here I'm gonna explain on our editing process. And this over here is single zoom mode, and what does it do? Like, let's say you have the grabber tool on and you just wanna zoom in real quick to go doing something. Active the single zoom mode, click where you wanna click, and right after that it's bring back on the grabber tools. Over here is our zoom toggle tools. It's basically gonna zoom it up to fill the window. And one cool editing tools we have in ProTools, Smart Tool. Smart Tool is a combination of those tools over here, and we activate it by clicking on this little space right here. Now when you see this blowed out, I mean they're all active, and quit the Smart Tools. Over here we also have Scrubber tools. You can just hit through the selections when you have it on. This over here is our pencil tools. I personally must use it on automation, or if I'm tempo map manually, which I barely do, but I have tons of great way we can use it. Now this is our main counter. Those are bars for selection. Let's say for example I have this selected, give you the length over here to bars, and it tell you where my selection start and where my selection ends. And this over here is our main scale. As for now I have bars and beats as our main scale. scales, my sub counter as a minute per second over here. Those are my bars and beats over here. You see the number 3, 4, 5, 6 over here. As you can see, you don't see my subs counter, the minute per second one, because I don't have it show. And to do that, click on this dog over there, click minute per second. Now you're gonna see here I have minute per second over here right under my bars and beats. There's a lot of other things you can also show or hide from over here too. As you can see, I have my tempo over here, I have my key, my chords, my markers. All of this I can hide them just by clicking on them. I like having them on, especially the markers. We can have up to 5 markers showing over here. Tempo information is over here 120, and we have the meter is 4x4. I'm probably not gonna really show the meter. Then we have the key. I like showing my key, so every time I look up here I already know this project is on this key and stuff like that. Now we have nudge over here, really important, especially when editing. And we also have our grid up here too, that showing us what we seeing over here. If you don't see those lines, this button over here showing hide our grid. Over here is our transport control, pretty much control playing stuff and recording stuff, moves and forwards and stuff. Also give us option to set pre-rolls or post-roll. While here is our MIDI controls, the metronome, and this over here is wait for note. This over here is MIDI merge. Like let's say for example you already record a certain note and there's a few notes you'd like to hide on the same track. You can just click on that, it's gonna merge all of them together. And this over here is our conductor, it's locked in our tempo. Up here is our tempo by default on 120. This count off button over here, when it's turned on, when you hit play in Pro Tools, it's gonna count off for as many of bars that you set over here. And there's also a lot of options that you can do with the count off. This is where you set the amount of bars you want to turn it on, then you have your count off. So if you don't need it, you turn it off. Here is our synchronization. Over here, this is our quantize control. Cool stuff, and put quantize, and if you want to change something, click over here. You can also manipulate how you want your quantize and stuff like that. Now all of this stuff, they normally automatically show up in Pro Tools on the top over here, but if for any reason you happen to don't see them, click that drop down button over here. Now everything you see selected over here are the thing that you're seeing right here. Let's say for example the zoom control. If you don't want to see it, you can just turn it off. There's also a short version of transport. To extend it, you come over here, click extended transport over here. Now the universe is gonna show you what you got going on. Again, for the track list, region list, come up here, you can also click them to show them. Now this A to Z button on the region list, edit window, and the group, those gotta be on to making a shortcut. Now let's go up here to set up our MIDI, our output, and to also show you how you can change the preference of not having a click track when you open Pro Tools. If you'd like to, you just go over here, click setup, and go down here in preferences, go to MIDI. Now where it say over here automatically quick click track in your sessions, turn it off. I like having it on, so I keep it on. Now set up our MIDI, go up here, click setup, then click MIDI. Now click MIDI input devices, and every MIDI that you have connected in your system is gonna show up over here. And check it out, click OK. And then how to set up your output, you go to setup again, click output. The main output in our system is gonna be the output with this speaker icon. You can also rename it. Double click on it, then choose a name. I call my main mix. You can click on it and delete, and you can also create a new one. You can set it to default. You can even set a new subpath below it. For the input, it's pretty much the same thing. You can create a new one. You can also rename. Now we just set up our MIDI. There's also one where you can see if it's working, and this is by creating a new track. Go up here, you click track, then you click new. The new track pop-up window is gonna look like this. Over here you have options to create as many tracks you want. Here I can change my track from mono to stereo, and this over here where it's a audio track, I can also change to a auxiliary input track or an instrument track or a MIDI track. You also have options for wiring folder, basic folder, and master for the track, which is really important. As soon as you start your project, create a master track, and this is simple or thick, which we're gonna explain on tempo map. And then over here you also have options to rename your track. For now, let's have a mono instrument track, and then I'm just gonna name it MIDI check. This plus button over here is also give you options to add any more as you want, and you also have options options to change the parameters. You also have this on the side where you can rearrange your track. Let's say you want the master faded track all the way in the bottom, you can just bring it here. Now the master is in the bottom, and we have the minus button over here where you can remove a wall track. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove all of this. Let's just keep our instrument track, just we can check our MIDI. Now click create. Our track is gonna show up like that. Import an instrument over here. It doesn't matter if you have instrument in the track, and when you press in your MIDI and you're not hearing any sounds, nothing wrong with your MIDI, but it's just that in Pro Tools, for you to hear it, you have to have the record button enabled. Now when you press it, you can hear sounds. Okay, now my MIDI is working. Hey, congratulations! You just made your first step in your making music journey just by watching this video through. And thank you so much for the time invested.